A lot of the students didn't even know that I had a problem because I hid it so well. I would do really crazy things to try to cover it up. Cough at the beginning of the sentence, or I would get up and go to the bathroom. I'd leave and I'd miss my turn. Or I started stuttering when I was about 8 years old. I was in the third grade. I just knew something wasn't right whenever I tried to talk. So I tried to hide it. I tried to cover it up by, switching words around. Sometimes it wouldn't even make sense what I was saying. And a lot of times I just stopped talking entirely. In school, it was hard because I hated to read out loud. I would always, count the people in front of me, and then I'd count the paragraphs and see if I could, if there were words that I'd have problems saying. I can't pinpoint anything that triggered it. There was one particular incident that I remember. I was reading out loud in fourth grade, and I stuttered really, really badly on a word, and the class laughed at me, and the teacher laughed. She just said, "Oh, I guess we made Sarah nervous." I didn't want to talk about it. My parents didn't really know that I had a problem. They finally started knowing that something was wrong whenever I'd be afraid to go to school. I'd be sick every day, and nervous. And I stopped doing things, that normal kids would do. Like I would stop ordering my own food at restaurants. I would get my parents to order for me. Whenever I was about 15 years old, I had gotten to the point where my stuttering had pretty much taken over my life. I transferred to a smaller school because of it. And that was a huge step, in my life, to leave my friends behind, leave, the school I'd gone to since kindergarten. I realized that something had to be done. Not being able to do things for myself, I felt really ashamed of myself. The more and more that I would have people do things for me, the worse it got, and the more afraid I got. My heart would pound. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My hands would get all clammy, and I just faced it, and I did fine. But I was always afraid of that moment that my stuttering would slip out and everybody would know. I would just force myself, really, and my parents were really supportive of me, and they would, kind of push me to try ththings. I've always been afraid that people are going to think that I'm less intelligent. Going into job interviews, I was always afraid that the person interviewing me would think, well, she can't, do this job, because she's nervous, or she has anxiety problems, or she, can't speak right. And I was always afraid that I'd be judged like that. I've often noticed in movies and on TV, there's characters who stutter, and they sometimes get portrayed in negative light, that they are nervous or that they have some mental problem. But people who stutter are just like everybody else. They're not any less intelligent. With stuttering being, a speech disorder, a lot of people don't attribute, a disorder with something positive. I've learned to make it a lot more positive in my life, and just consider it, a gift now, really. Makes me unique.